So if you don't know us, I don't know if you know us or not, but I'm Michelle Jewett-Silva, the art unicorn of Ska Studios.
And I'm James Silva, the lead dishwasher.
And we are Ska Studios, the entire team right here. I mean, we can't forget our cats, of course.
Right. We have slides for that.
We do have slides
We can move
for
on
that
to
later.
the slides.
We can move on.
You can press the buttons.
We can press the keys. But this is not the
Oh,
slides
it's
of cats.
disorganized. Okay, so
okay.
so this is sort of our outline, our kind of high-level view of what we wanted to, what we wanted to
Do you want me to
approach.
go to the correct slide?
You want to go to the cats?
Yeah, okay.
Nope. Oh,
Oh,
no.
you didn't want to do that? Sorry.
What did you do? Anyway.
I revealed behind the curtain. I'm sorry. There's cats. Here you go.
Yeah.
Those are our two cats, Nico and Gato. So they're just like the mascots of our company. And there's me jumping over fire. I didn't know you put that picture in.
I did.
And you eating pizza.
That's
Cool.
true.
So we can, what's that? Eating pizza.
It's true, yeah.
That was after a race we did in New York City.
Right.
Yeah.
We just had an audience question. It was, is that what James is doing?
That is what he was doing.
Explaining for posterity. so the premise of our talk, I wanted to discuss fandom, it's I mean, partially fandom goes hand in hand with fantasy, where you get into a game, you just kind of delve into the fantasy of it, and it's just all about joy and just kind of this intact universe that you can just exist in. It's an enormous aspect of gaming culture. Loving to play games.
We love to play games, sending games, clicking games. No.
We love cooking games.
Cooking
yeah,
games.
And we are fans, and we're crafting games. Like we're driven by fandom.
Yeah. So like ideally, the reason you get into making games is because you love games, right? And like really, all of us are fans, and that's why we do it. And then we wanted to get into that and just really like delve into like yeah, that's for us. How being a fan translates to being a developer, and like what kind of goes into our games, being a fan of other games and other developers. So basically, we're just fans making games. Oh, there we go.
Fans crafting games.
You can hear me now. Cool. Oh yeah, so again, we're Ska Studios.
Yep, yeah. Established 2007 in upstate New York, and currently live near Seattle. We have 3 Metacritic aggregated games, and
like a bazillion little indie games on this thing
games
called XSplig. I don't know if you've heard of it, maybe. Yeah. I guess the most popular one of those would be I Made a Game with Zombies in it back in, 2009? I don't know.
Yep. And then if I hit down, will it blow up?
You can just hit it.
Okay. Oh, there's the picture. Yeah, so we consist
There's
of
the
humans and
cats.
cats. This is the whole dev team.
Yeah, they couldn't make it. They're not good on planes.
But yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
You've probably never heard of us.
This
Actually,
is
if
our
you're
hipster
here, you may have heard
panel
of
here.
But yeah, here's this is kind of our catalog of our more prominently known games. You may notice they're all for Xbox 360.
We're fixing that.
Yeah. And so I mean, we had a really strong run on Xbox 360. This generation moving, and we're not going to talk too much about this, but this generation moving forward, we just found a great thing in Sony and PS4 and Vita. So that's our future looking forward. But I mean, if you have heard of any of these games, that's our
yeah.
that's
Who
our
here
jam.
has played like the dishwasher? Yeah, 2 people.
Hey.
Sweet. Charlie Murder, Zombies. Yes.
Okay. Any interest
zombies,
in
yeah.
dishwasher on PS4?
Any interest in dishwasher on PS4? That guy.
Okay,
yeah.
that guy. Okay. And Vita. Gotcha.
Yep. But anyway, we're really big fans of other games, older games, newer games alike. This is your slide.
This is my slide, yeah. I'm like, what just really stood out to me during my childhood, during my lifetime. So Mega Man 3 is the first one. When I had chickenpox, I played just the heck out of Mega Man 3. That's like the only Mega Man that I was able to consistently beat, and
yeah.
It was great.
I played a little bit of those older side-scrolling Mega Mans, but I got into the really ridiculously into this like kind of offshoot Mega Man that I think a lot of people don't know too much about. Maybe they do. Mega Man Legends. I don't know, it's really awesome. It's not at all like the older Mega Man games, but I got like super, super into these games, like obsessed with just the characters. It was more of a adventure RPG kind of game.
Yeah, she's weirdly into it.
Really into it.
And then I put River City Ransom in there because that was another big one. Marathon 2 Durandal. I was the guy with the Macintosh. My friends were PC people, so they were like Doom, and I was like, this is our Doom. We have it too. It's better. It's got AIs in it. Word up.
Cool.
And then Mortal Kombat. Like the first time I saw Mortal Kombat was in a roller skating rink, and I was like, you can blow up guys' heads and they land on the spikes and they fall apart and it's amazing. So that was a huge influence, and that probably set the stage for kind of the level of violence from
Yeah, so if you have played our games, you're familiar with like very graphic, visceral, just like heads and stuff everywhere. You can use a head and throw it as a weapon in Charlie Murder. And
yeah, so yeah, I mean, Mortal Kombat kind of set the tone for that. And I guess Ed Boon had heard of Dishwasher 2, but didn't play it. So that was like, we're close to coming full circle, but yeah,
yeah,
haven't quite done it.
Oh, that's my slide.
This is Michelle's slide.
I mean,
made
the
this
images
for her.
are a little bit skewed off there, but these are like two of the games from my childhood that really stood out. The old Jurassic Park that was like the top down. You couldn't save, like you had to keep the console running if you wanted to keep going with it. And I never beat it as a kid, but years later I got the emulator and played through the ROM, save states, yeah. So I finally got through it as an adult years later. And then Mystical Ninja, that's another just really bizarre one, but I loved it. And just really influenced me.
And I didn't know, we were at a friend's house and the Nintendo 64 came out and Michelle was like, Mystical Ninja Goemon, and it was like, who are you?
But there were two other people in the room who were also
and they did the
freaking
same thing
out.
too.
We did the same thing, like Goemon, freaking out.
It was like a kill switch. It was like trigger the Goemon people.
That was a side of me you probably hadn't seen before.
Yeah, it was weird.
But they were special to me.
Yeah, and that's.
Oh yeah, I guess we're gonna move on.
Yeah, I mean that was kind of touching on how, growing up as a fan of games, like there are things that you just get stupid about. You're just like, that was amazing. I don't care if today it is actually objectively a bad game.
You just turn into this puddle of.
It was special to me. Yeah,
like
I mean, I remember
everyone has things to get excited about.
Right, Marathon Durandal came out on Xbox Live Arcade, and I was like, what is this shit? But like back then, it was just so amazing, and like it was just so special and wonderful. And yeah, there's that part of you is just so integral to developing as a human.
And nothing is like really more interesting than seeing someone who's normally really collected and calm and put together, especially a developer that maybe you appreciate, seeing them just like melt down and have this reaction of something they find really awesome. That's always really exciting to see. But yeah, one of the main things we wanted to talk about today was our fandom of the Souls games.
And there's Michelle.
And that's
she's
me.
She's kind of into it.
And my friends kind of into it. Kind of making the cosplay scene.
Yeah.
You can talk about that.
You've got, Lucatil of Mira and then Dusk of Ulasil.
Mm-hmm.
And like she makes the costumes all herself. Like she's just at this level of into it.
Yeah, and that's my group of friends in that, I don't know some outdoor area of the convention center. And I guess that's.
And that's your fan
You
art.
put these slides together, so I'm not sure what you wanted me to say with them.
No, it was about, how we're, as fans. Like,
as fans, we do fan
express,
stuff, yeah. So that's some of my fan art.
And it's like, it's just, you do it because you love the concept so much. You love the game, you love the universe. You want to express it. Games are universes.
That's what you just said.
Yeah, and I started talking with this earlier. There's a fantasy of a universe. It's about kind of having this like this atomic world that you can just exist in, you can dwell in, and you just there's a level of appreciation and love to it that comes from games that I don't think it really exists in other mediums. And it comes pretty much solely from the interactive nature of them. You're
like you belong to that world, and that's really yours. Like. I think like a lot of people right now, I'm playing a whole ton of Dragon Age Inquisition and just getting so into this world and really invested in these characters that at the end of the day, they're pixels on the screen, right? But you just get so into them, and it's really interesting seeing people who are fans of our games getting really, really into our universes and like making up stories for those characters, and it's kind of mind-blowing that you're like, someone got really, really into your game in that way.
Oh my gosh, there's a typo there.
Oh no.
But yeah, I mean, basically, yeah, the interactive, games, because they're interactive, the universe you exist in is meaningful because all of your actions had effects and consequences in that universe, and that's why they're special.
Very special.
Like that time you checked the doghouse, and you're like, "There's no."
You're like,
dog
I don't think
around.
there's a dog around, and then he's like, he gets on you.
Yeah, and so most of these screenshots, actually all of these screenshots were from games that were like super special for me. So Devil May Cry 3 was like a huge inspiration for me, and the Dishwasher Dead Samurai. And then kind of from that to Dark Souls, there was just such a similar feeling of this, I mean, it's exploration and then mastery, and it's so challenging and so demanding, but when you when you succeed, when you achieve what you're trying to do, it's just such a feeling of accomplishment. And it's like you own a piece of this universe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like when you're in Jurassic Park on Super Nintendo, and you're like, there's a raptor around the corner, but you...
Or like the T-Rex. I don't know if you guys have ever
I've
played
never
that
played
old
it.
NES, but there's like 2 areas where the T-Rex comes out from the side, and you cannot kill him. He's not defeatable. You just have to run away and use I think it's your stun darts, or your tranquilizer darts rather, to slow him down, but you can't kill him. You have to escape. And
I'm just surprised it hasn't come onto the Wii U eShop.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I'm not really sure if it was a good game. It was just one of those things that you get really, really into. Yeah.
So,
oh yeah.
So here was the revelation. It was this moment of sudden clarity, kind of realizing, there's this love of fantasy, love of games, love of these unique universes that arise through games, and I was just like, you know what? All of our games are fan fiction. There's like so many elements in common where, and it's not like you're setting out to be like I want to make this game because like that other game was successful and I want to be successful too. It's like, no, you're just like it's like this just totally pure love of like a concept or an idea, and you're just like, I want to do that. I want to make that too. So yeah, Dishwasher Dead Samurai we're showing here on the left, and then on the right it's like some game about this guy with swords or something. I don't know.
Swords guy.
Yeah. But I think he has lightning power because in the background there's lightning.
Yeah, and fire.
But yeah, no, I mean I was like playing a ton of God of War on PS2 when I was working on Dead Samurai, and that was at some point Dead Samurai was just it had like air combos and stuff from more Devil May Cry. But at some point I was like, what if I pressed B, which would be where circle maps on the PS3 controller?
Yes.
Like, what if I hit B and do like this awesome execution and just like blood goes everywhere? And it was just this concept that was just so much fun to play with and just so visceral and exciting.
So executions are really inspired from God of War.
Yeah, didn't I tell you that?
Oh, I know. I'm just
yeah. Oh yeah.
progressing here.
Right.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah. And I mean that idea like implementing that it was like just this door had been opened and it was like, man, this is great. I love this. I love working with this.
Yeah, like all the weapons that you can switch between, so fluid, and like I think one of the comparisons I would make is God of War is so fluid and just really snappy with all the combat and
just
switching
fluid
between
goes
weapons.
everywhere.
Just fluids literally everywhere. It's
Fluids
fluid in
on the
motion.
walls, fluids on the
fluids
ceiling.
everywhere. And Dishwasher really emulated that. I would call it more of a love letter than a fan fiction myself.
They
was
don't
a
knock
love
fan
letter.
fiction.
It's not bad, but just I would call it like more of a. You're not taking the same world and characters. You're more saying like,
Right.
I appreciate these things from this game, so I'm gonna,
Michelle's also
continue on
a little sensitive because we got some weird fan fiction about Dishwasher.
Oh, we got a little weird. Yeah, that happens. You get used to it though.
Yeah.
I shield you from it,
Okay.
Yeah. But we also realized everyone does that, right?
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
okay.
Yeah, and it's I mean, kind of, it's like you realize that, I mean, you have this moment of clarity where you're like, all of our games are fan fiction, and that's like totally awesome. It's this concept of taking this love of a theme or medium, or and just kind of owning it and being like, let's play with these factors and these variables, and let's tweak stuff, and let's just make new ways to kill things.
Right. So you have these slides here, Dishwasher Vampire Smile, the sequel to Dead Samurai, which I feel is like leaps and bounds an improvement from the original.
We were learning.
We were learning.
a lot of learning going on.
I feel like Vampire Smile is a really strong game. And then you have Ninja Gaiden on the right there. Do you want to talk about your inspirations? How those drew from each other? How Ninja Gaiden inspired you?
You mean apart from what I just said, or was that?
Yeah, I'm talking about specifics. Like, what about it?
Right.
What did you love about it?
It sounds like you're asking me. Oh, I don't know. I don't like just like the way the blood was so I don't know, dynamic and visceral feeling. Like a lot of that kind of feel was coming from Ninja Gaiden.
Combos.
Yeah.
I'm trying to guide you.
That's what I know. Okay, now I know. Yeah, the Izuna drop. So in Ninja Gaiden, there's a move called the Izuna drop where you grab someone in midair and do this like spiraling body slam. And I was like, that would be okay if I borrowed that, right? Because it's like such a good feeling way to end an air combo. So yeah, like we have a lot of like these crazy air combos that end in awesome body slams. Another game that does that is Dust and Elysian Tail. You do a crazy air combo and end in a wicked body slam, and like that's just like this awesome thing that was I mean it was kind of like a hallmark of Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah, talking about Dust and Elysian Tail, which is now on PS4.
Yeah.
He's an awesome guy. I think that's a really awesome story of Dean, who started out as an animator, and through the book James wrote, and he became your friend, and through that he was able to develop and create his own game. He taught himself to program, taught himself how to make games, and all really started out because he was a fan of your games.
And Odin Sphere.
Yeah. But like
He's
through
through
you, he learned how to make games and how to, continue on. In part, yeah. He attributes it to you, so that's why I'm saying that.
Well, that's sweet of him.
He's a sweet guy.
Yeah. So that's Dishwasher Vampire Smile, and that's a picture of Ninja Gaiden 2. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And there's Charlie Murder. I was even like thinking about putting a little caption on the bottom that was like, "Nope, it's not the Castle Crashers clone."
It's not Castle Crashers.
But yeah, it was like very much inspired by River City Ransom, which was this game I really like just loved growing up. Which actually, River City Ransom. I mean, talking about fandom, Scott Pilgrim is basically a River City Ransom homage. And much closer of one.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting in this generation. There's a lot of people, like usually younger people, who they see games like Castle Crashers and the Scott Pilgrim, and they think like that's its own genre and it's new and that's its thing. So they saw Charlie Murder and were thinking like, oh yeah, it's just like Castle Crashers, and it's like no. There are much older games. This is a genre that goes way back, and we are fans of it. From like Castle Crashers is a great game too, of course. But it goes much farther back than that.
It's in our blood.
It's in our blood.
Yeah, I like so, and this is like this $1 Xbox indie games game that people still play now and then. But I put a railgun in it, and that's a screenshot from Quake 2, which was like.
So your railgun is from basically Quake 2?
Basically Quake 2. Yeah.
Basically, same
Which,
thing, right?
hang on, the Quake 2 railgun was basically from Eraser, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's got 2 of them. He's like shooting trucks and stuff. Never saw that movie. I just watched the clip.
Interesting.
Yeah. So this is to present day now, and we're talking Salt and Sanctuary. We announced it last August.
Just before PAX, we announced Salt and Sanctuary, and the first thing most people see in it is like, hey, it's 2D Dark Souls, and I think we're okay with that, Where previously where people would say, hey, the Charlie Murder, that's like Castle Crashers, right? We were a little bit like, nah, we want to say more other things. And now with Salt and Sanctuary, people saying 2D Dark Souls, I'm okay with that. How about you?
Yeah, we're down with that. You know, I mean, it's like it's kind of like the theme of this whole talk. You know, sort of owning this idea of like we just love being fans. And like Dark Souls was a game that I kind of put off playing for a while because everyone was like, it's so hard, you'll just die all the time and you'll hate it, but you'll love it. And I was like, that doesn't sound really enticing. But I eventually gave it a shot, and like, you know, 100 hours later, after I, you know, linked the fire, I was like, yes, we've done it. You know, at the time we were finishing Charlie Murder. I think we even snuck in a Solaire reference in Charlie Murder, but no one saw it. It's a graffiti on a wall.
Yeah, a few actually. One of the packs is someone saw it. They're like, "Hey,
nice.
it's like Solaire." Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like the themes and just like the mechanics and the combat, everything about it is great. Just like the feeling of like, oh no, I'm in combat. Can I like maintain my stamina and my health and just it's I love it. Yeah.
You love it.
Yeah. I'm getting excited just thinking about it. And then, so yeah, and then concepts. I mean,
so Castlevania is another one.
that is a picture of Castlevania.
That is a picture of Castlevania.
So yeah, and that's actually funny because the one on the left is like sort of a bull shot in that it's not representing what it seems like it should be. Like it looks like you're ducking under the beak, but actually you're getting knocked back by the beak, and then you're kind of under it. I shouldn't have even said that. That's stupid. Anyway.
But that's beyond the point.
So yeah, like the idea of this like seamless 2D world where like there's all these interconnected areas, and you're gaining new abilities to unlock new areas of the map, and that's something, you know, we've never really tried before. Dishwasher was very, very linear. You know, it's just one level after the other. And this is, you know, it's this open world idea. Where
yeah, so this is new for us then. I didn't really even think about that until today.
It's new. But yeah, I mean, I loved Symphony of the Night. I kind of like, I played all the DS ones while we were moving, and I love them. So yeah, I'm into old school Castlevania. Wish they'd do more of that.
We're doing it.
We are.
Yeah.
And Axiom Verge. And then so mechanics-wise, you know, this is coming back to a little bit of Dishwasher, which in itself was, you know, inspired by, you know, Devil May Cry, Ninja Gaiden, that kind of thing. I threw in air combos. And
just what, 2 weeks ago?
Just 2 weeks ago, yeah. And you know, they don't play like, you know, I am a ninja with unending energy and I will just, you know, flip around the screen killing everyone. It's still, it kind of goes in with that stamina management. But what it does add is kind of this battlefield management where you're managing the locations of all of the enemies by using, you know, a second location of up in the air. I don't want to install updates. No, I don't want to install them. Stop. No, postpone.
Stop. What are you doing? Stop. Okay. Yeah. So would you say? You're like inspired from yourself.
Yeah, so I was like, and I'm totally inspired by myself for this one.
I am so into myself.
And Stu. We're inspired by Stu
and
too.
Stu.
Yeah.
He helped us out a lot. Yeah. So
yeah, and in just, you know, like adoring all of these concepts, you start to ask yourself questions like, what if a 2D Souls-like existed? Would it work?
Would it work? Well, I really think maybe like, I wouldn't say exactly, but like Dark Souls could have been drawn from the Castlevanias, you know?
Yeah, and that's why. So your brother.
So you're kind of going back and forth, right?
I always talk about your brother in
you
podcasts.
You go 2D to 3D to 2D again.
Right,
it's
but
all coming back.
That's where, I mean, because they've called Dark Souls like the first 3D Castlevania.
Mm-hmm. The first good one.
Yeah, I mean the first proper. So then 3D. That was like, why is there a whip in the game? Well, you know, a little bit of a.
Where there's a whip, there's a way.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But you know, and I wanted to look at the bonfire concept. Like not like it was broken, but just how can we play with this? So what if a bonfire was actually like this sort of safe area where you could build, you could add people to it, you could invite new people to it. They would affect your ability to kind of you know, patrol the area.
Yeah. So Salt and Sanctuary. Part of the name Sanctuary is that you have these sanctuaries you can come upon and claim as your own and then build upon those. So you start populating it with NPCs that help you out on your journey. You also come across other sanctuaries that don't belong to you, but you can desecrate them and take them over and you have to fight the guardians. And that's all drawing upon the bonfire idea.
Yeah, it's kind of like this new approach where it's like we're taking the bonfire and we're making it so you can start from there and really customize your whole world. And it's a question like, would that be good or would it be bad or would it be just like tacked on? And that's a question that we get to play with.
Right. We take these things that we enjoy as pillars of a game and really explore it and try to answer those what if questions as developers.
Right. And then yeah, I mean you look at like Souls-like games, and there aren't a lot of things where new character abilities unlock new areas like in Metroidvanias. So how could that be incorporated? And like that in our trailer for this, I mean we show off that there's a point where you can reverse gravity. How can that affect gameplay, open up new areas, and not break current gameplay?
Yeah, so that's something to explore.
And then same thing. What about air combos and a stamina bar? Would that break this feeling of kind of like this slow combat where you're managing every second? Would it be too goofy? Would it seem too fast?
You're trying to find and discover the middle ground, I guess, between really fast-paced, unlimited action and having a stamina bar and being a little bit more restricted.
And then also, yeah, because weight is affecting your movement
Weight is
speed
affecting you, of course.
in a platformer where platforms are fixed distances apart. So I mean, what if like heavy armor makes it so you just can't
jump. You're just like
and then how much can you have armor affect weight? So all of these things are they're like questions where you're like, I love all this stuff. I want to make a game. Will it work? I have no idea.
We'll find out.
But that's what we started to find out.
Yeah, I guess, so you wrote 1.5 years, but I would really say you started it 2 years ago because you started working on this on our honeymoon.
Oh, yeah. I did, didn't I?
We went to Maui, and he's like, I brought my laptop. What?
Yeah.
But I think something really good came out of it anyway. Like, it gets dark early in Hawaii, so what are you going to do? Make video games. So, yeah.
I thought you were going to say it gets dark early in a marriage.
Wow, that's not what I said.
Okay, in Hawaii, got it.
So anyway, my point being, we really started this 2 years ago.
Yeah, and it is a scroller of the sideways variety.
Yeah, fancy.
The sanctuary mechanic is I mean it's probably the most novel introduction into this genre. Aside from kind of like a more it's got that dishwasher aesthetic that that you may or may not know us for.
Lots of blood, of course, and bodies flying apart, ragdolling. You were working on several different ragdoll variations. Like sometimes they would just go woo, flying way across the screen, and you were trying to find that right balance.
The severed pieces leave these really tight spirals of blood. It looks really good.
Everything just like spirals out.
Yeah, and then there's like a ton of move, and this is still kind of very much in progress. But there's like a ton of move sets. You can single hand, dual hand. I mean, two-hand weapons. You can dual wield like a sword in one hand and a crossbow in the other. You can chain like your sword hand to your ranged hand. There's a lot of variation, and we're still kind of working on that.
Let's see, how far along are we? You can keep talking.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and it takes place in a big, seamless, interconnected world. The characters are all totally customizable. You can get new gear. It'll affect your appearance. It'll affect your movement speed. It'll affect how much damage you do and how much damage you absorb. All that. It's got all the stuff. And your combat style is affected by your loadout weight. So if you're too heavy, you won't be able to roll as fast. And then the one thing that I love from video games, all video games, is lots and lots of bosses. I think lots of bosses is a great
bosses
thing.
And also monster variety. So we're just kind of getting into this. We have a lot of characters now. We have a lot of monsters now, and I enjoy that in a game. Like a lot of games, you will play through and they'll have maybe a handful of enemies that you fight the whole time. You just are fighting the same zombie over and over again. But I love variety in monsters and just having tons of stuff.
Yeah, and we actually do a Twitch stream like twice a week where.
Oh yeah, we do dev streams.
I usually churn out a monster over the stream, so. I just realized we're gonna have to kind of speed up.
Yeah,
I think.
Let's speed up a little bit.
It's right.
It's right.
Oh yes. So here's the trend that inspired the talk: is being a fan lame, unhip, or square? Yeah, we kind of got way like into what is Salt and Sanctuary. Totally left off the fan part, but that's still super important. You know, being a fan, being just like crazy about a game, is that lame? That's the guy from Nerds, Revenge of the Nerds, who's like, nerds.
I don't know.
Yeah. Is being a fan lame?
Not really.
Lame.
I mean, it depends on where you take it, right?
And that's
like,
what.
Being a fan is really important. Of course, developers need fans to keep making games, but there can be a dark side of it too, as we all know.
Right. Yeah, and then so I mean, I looked at this like, you know, fandom. You start out as a huge fan, and then eventually you get a little bit more cynical. That's like the barista meme. I forgot.
Yeah,
what
I
it's
kind
called.
of forgot about that meme. But there's like the cynical guy meme, and we want to obviously keep it in the fandom side of that spectrum, because it's really easy to fall into cynicism and become negative, especially when you're playing something and you're frustrated or it's buggy. And where does that cynicism come from?
Is it just real life? Is it growing up? Are you just being constantly disappointed by, you know, unmet expectations? And does developer fandom ever turn evil?
Yeah, developer fandom or fan fandom? You're talking about dev fandom right now, right?
Yeah.
When does it turn evil?
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, the question is like, do developers exploit fandom for evil?
Right. Depends on the person, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I had this kind of hypothesis about why fandom turns evil, and it kind of came down to money being toxic. That's the lady from Dark Souls 2 who takes all your.
She's pretty hilarious.
Takes all your souls.
She's like, give me your souls in exchange for miracles.
What the heck was her name? Lucia of Lindell?
Lucia? Yeah.
The
miracles lady.
Yeah, she's the miracles lady. But yeah, so it's a hypothesis that once money gets involved, like being a fan seems less glamorous. You know, once you get this feeling that what's not important to the developer is the fantasy. Like the developer no longer cares about the universe. The developer no longer cares about, you know, are you in this intact atomic universe of just, you know, everything you do affects stuff, and everyone you know in the universe is, you know, has their own motivation, because now there's this external thing that's saying, oh, and also we want you to pay for some gems. You know, is that where you know everything starts to just sort of break down? Does the universe you live exist primarily to take your money?
Right. This was all you.
That's the question.
This is what you wrote.
You know, and that's you know, again, because you know, as a fan you have a love of this universe, and it relies on the love of the universe from the creators of the universe too. You know, these developers and publishers and producers. Do they exploit your love for profit?
Do they?
That's a betrayal.
Like this guy who betrays your trust.
Yeah, and that's Patches.
Patches. Ah, Patches.
Yeah. You know what? This talk was inspired too much by angry people on the internet. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of a trend that you see, is people are more angry about issues with games when there are, you know, microtransactions around it, or when it seems like a cash grab.
Yeah, and that's something that's kind of sad that we see a little bit of directed toward us too sometimes, where there's these bugs and people are angry about it, and the funniest thing that we hear is like, oh, the developers did it on purpose to spite you in some way. And it's like, from our end, no, we didn't do it to spite you, but there's something else going on, and like we want to make it as good as possible, but we're not doing it in any kind of anger or doing it on purpose. I mean, obviously, but that's sort of like this funny mentality that pops up. Yeah. There was
The dev perspective. Are we evil?
Are we evil?
And
depends on what you think evil is, right?
Yeah. So and here's the. I've always heard this expression, like, you're leaving money on the table. We've you know, it's been like, not, I don't know, like an hour ago I heard someone say that to me. You know, if you're
not doing this, then you're leaving money on the table.
Yeah, if you miss this platform, you're leaving money on the table. Yeah, and it's not evil in itself to want to get more money, but it feels evil. You know, I mean, at some point you have to ask, like, when are we trying to not leave money on the table, and when are we trying to?
Right, because we still want to be able to continue making games and support ourselves, and maybe that's just like the indie mentality, is that you're focusing on the game first, and you want to be able to support yourself and keep making money, but maybe that's the balance, right? Where you don't want to be too like greedy and cash grabby, but.
Right. It's like so you know, if you're not porting to every platform, are you leaving money on the table? You know, and in a way you kind of, I mean, it could be argued that you are, because you did all the work, you developed the game, and now but you didn't release on PC, so you're leaving money on the table. But you could take that to an extreme and be like, and we didn't include microtransactions every step of the way. That's money on the table.
Yeah, it actually got brought up in developing Charlie Murder. I don't really want to get into too much detail, but it got the topic got brought up of putting microtransactions within the game. And at first you were thinking like, well, let me think about that. No.
Well, I had an idea that was kind of like strip down the idea of microtransactions, like strip away all the gamification of it, and just be like, let's put a tip jar in. Like, if you want to tip the developers, you can. And like, if you don't want to, you don't have to.
Like you were more okay with the idea of a tip jar than just saying like, buy some gems for something.
Yeah, but we couldn't figure out the tech aspect, so it worked out that we didn't put it in.
You just didn't do
it
it anyway.
Yeah, because that was. But yeah, I mean, I just, and it's, so here we are in Vegas.
Yeah.
And like, I'm like, you go to like a mall, you go to the airport, every walkable space has a vending, or not a vending, a gambling machine. Yeah. Yeah, a slot machine in it. And like, you have to imagine if you're the people running these spaces, if you're not filling every space with slot machines, you're technically leaving money on the table. You know, you're not maximizing your profit. And you know, just walking through it though, as just a random dude, I'm like, man, this seems pretty greedy. And when you start introducing that kind of evil philosophy, like that evil feeling philosophy into gaming, you're like, that's I don't know. I couldn't be a fan of that personally, and that's what's super important to me. And I took an ethics class in community college. Business ethics is actually about maximizing profit.
Interesting.
Isn't that weird? But that's I mean, it was a community college, so maybe it was all just not real. But
yeah, so you would say like you were the artist ethics side of it, right?
Yeah, which is that we're never compromising.
You don't want to compromise your artistic vision. But
right.
We kind of have to get through this quickly.
Yeah,
and that's kind of saying more of the same thing, right?
Yeah. So and if you didn't hear about this, was and they were nominated last night.
Yeah,
at the Game Awards show. But yeah, this is Monument Valley. They kind of famously. I think the game was like $3 or $4, and they introduced like a $1 map pack, and they just got flooded with 1-star reviews because everyone was just like, these greedy developers, why are they doing
this? But you're saying like in this case it's not evil, right?
It's not evil.
It's not evil.
No. Oh yeah. Don't read that way. Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean that's you know that's the impression that is, you know, people are getting, and that's super unfortunate.
Right.
Because it's such a.
I think in the end, it doesn't really matter which way you go with it. Somebody's going to hate it. Like if you do the, you know, paid DLC thing, someone's going to love it and someone's going to hate it, no matter what you do.
Also true. Yeah.
So,
and we have people ask us, you know, when we'll have DLC.
There's people who want DLC.
And like that, you know, 12-year-old James in my head is like, we can't do that. That's evil. You know. But I mean,
it sounds like you're battling your own demons.
Yeah,
here
I'm
too.
battling my own demons.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So anyway, fans, we need to get back on that topic.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the idea. You know, money maybe makes everything start to go icky and wrong. But what we want to do more than anything is just to celebrate fandom.
You just want to celebrate fandom.
The faniverse.
We haven't gotten too many cosplayers come up to us, but the ones that we do, it's really awesome, and
it's really sweet.
It's really sweet and just amazing when that happens. And this is one example. I think there's been like 2 others, but
yeah, there's been a few.
Few.
The dishwasher and Yuki from the Dishwasher Vampire Smile.
Yeah.
You know,
and they were so happy to be there.
We're huge fans of our games, obviously, and when there are fans of our games, that's just the most amazing thing.
And it feels almost surreal when that happens. You're like, what? People like the crap we make? What? Okay, cool. Yeah. I mean, not crap because we love it, but you know. It's on a different scale sometimes.
Yeah, and you know, it's like we love all of our games, and if our games ever did slip down that evil track of prioritizing you know, money over just this integral joy, then it would be tragic.
Yeah. So I guess this is what you were trying to say. You aren't going to let greed rule you.
Yeah. We'll promise to never let greed be our motivator. We would sooner starve to death, and you will have killed us. Why did you kill us?
Why? Yeah, I think this is kind of jumbled. I think the slides are a little out of order, but that's okay.
No, it's all. It's yeah. And here's some more fan art that we got. You know, we just
Fan art's awesome.
we love this celebration of universes that we've created because we're as passionate about those universes as you know, people that contribute art. And we want being a fan to stay awesome.
Yeah. We're fans of fans. Mm.
And here's kind of like a weird aside, but I think it's also like a really good message. Is that, you know, if you're a fan of games like we are, and you want to explore fandom, creating games is the coolest way to get into it. There's so many tools out there. There's so many great ways to get into making games. Obviously, I used to be a really big XNA guy. Can't really talk about that much anymore. But monogame is great. FTW means for the win. It's not like an edition of monogame. And then you know, Unity, Game Maker Studio. All of those things can get you on the PlayStation 4, I believe, which we are.
Which we're doing.
Which we're big on that now. But yeah, I mean, you know, again, like all of those concepts and worlds and everything, like all the stuff you love about video games, you can make yourself. You know, you can play with those things, you can explore those things, and it's like a great trip.
And don't let that cynicism kill your passion. Fight the cynicism.
Right. Yep. The negativity, it just leads to more negativity. Positivity.
Yeah. So we try to, if we're ever like feeling a little bit bitter and angry about something, we try to turn it around and be like, okay, we need to stop right now and stop being cynical and start thinking like, what is this thing that I like? What do I really love right now? Like, I really love Dragon Age right now. You know.
Right. I think, I mean, we have like, you know, this like archive of just things that people have said to us that make us feel happy.
I have a folder or a label in my Gmail that's like, not everything sucks, and it's just nice emails that people have sent us saying nice things.
That's more negative than it has to be.
Oh,
even.
It does. I know the label says that. But you know, you get a lot of like negative comments, and you start feeling it and feeling, you know, burdened by it, and just going back and reminding yourself that there are a lot of really awesome people out there, people that love what you do and you love them. So yep. It's good to remind yourself that that's out there.
Yeah, and the game universes that you live in, like, let them stay awesome. You know.
Stay awesome.
Yeah. For every video game, there will be an ugly aspect to it. That's not important though. You know, I mean, it doesn't have to be important, I guess.
Just keep being a fan. Yeah.
Right. Just do what you love.
Keep liking stuff. It's okay to like things.
It's okay to like things.
It's also okay to not like things, but yes. Just like things.
Yeah. So that's basically that's our thing. Fandom.
That was our incredibly disorganized talk.
I think it was semi-organized.
It was all good. All right. So yeah, I'm Michelle. My handle on Twitter is ShellDragon, and just about everywhere else. And our website is ska-studios.com. And
Ska Studios was taken.
Ska Studios was taken by someone.
And I'm James Silva, Jameszilla on Twitter. And we actually I do a Twitch. I said this earlier, but I do Twitch stream Tuesdays and Fridays at 1. If you follow me on Twitter, like you'll see where that is.
He tweets all that stuff, and I do a monster streaming every Monday. I've been translating that into monsters in the game too. Yeah, we do. So we stream stuff.
Yeah, we stream all the game development. Not so much game playing, except for every now and then there's like a Dark Souls binge.
Oh yeah.
Actually, it's just been DLC related lately. And yeah, the game is Salt and Sanctuary. It is an exploration in dark fandom.
The love of the dark.
Yeah, and we don't have a release date, but we're shooting for next summer, and it'll be PS4 and Vita.
Yeah.
And thank you all so much for coming.
Oh yeah, thanks. And if you want to ask questions right now in the next 15 minutes, there are some mics here in the middle. You can just come on up and ask whatever. Any you.
Hi.
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 So you listed monogame.
Yes.
That,
Yeah.
and you talked about it first, and then you went to the ones that were above it. So what do you guys use now mainly?
So we are in the process of transitioning from XNA to monogame.
Okay.
I mean, that's all of my code, legacy code, frame. You know, all my editors. I have this like character editors and map editors, and there's an editor just for like barrel, like to define a barrel that breaks up into smaller bits. That's got an editor called Smash Edit. You know, so all of these editors that I've made, you know, over the course of years, they're all XNA. So you know, basically transitioning to monogame. Aside from like Unity would be like the second best bet because it's still C#. But monogame is the best bet, and that's you know that's awesomely available on PS4. You know, so that's really good for us.
Yeah, I heard some interesting news about monogame. I thought they were stopping development. Maybe I just heard something.
Well, so XNA got shut down.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, XNA, Microsoft created XNA and then shut it down like after they had created a generation of people who were really excited about XNA, including me.
Yeah.
So
That's
so
usually what you should do when you have fans. You just shut it down, right?
yeah. But yeah, so monogame basically gave us that. It's a community maintained framework that basically tries to take all the XNA functionality and let it run on non-Microsoft platforms.
Cool.
So. Programming.
Taka.
Howdy.
Hello.
Do you have any advice, or could you share your experience regarding designing as a married couple or as a couple?
Oh yeah, that's a thing. So last PAX we had a panel that was I totally forget the title of it now, but it was
Till Game Over, Do Us Part.
That's right.
Till Game Over, Do Us Part.
Till Game Over, Do Us Part, and it was 3 couples who are all husband and wife, work together, and we talked about like how that works and how it doesn't work. Man,
Did we have any advice the whole panel? I don't think we did.
I think we just talked about our experiences, which is what it just comes down to.
I think we just concluded that we had no idea what we were doing. I don't know. A lot of it, a lot of it's just kind of learning about how you as a person suck at listening to your wife, and that hurts her feelings. Because for us, it's like I'm doing all the coding. So if Michelle has an idea, I'm like,
it's kind of up to you.
I'll be like, yeah, that's a great idea, and then I'll never implement it, and she'll be like, I see how you really feel about my idea, And it's like, I'm like, no, it was a good idea. And
well, I
she's
think
like,
a lot
sure.
of our problems were solved when we got source control, because before that, James is like, he was the one-man band, right, for several years, and he just did everything on his own computer. He has backups, of course, but no source control whatsoever. Which
is like a grave sin.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
So when I would want to do anything, like create content of any kind, I'd have to give it to him and hope he puts it in the game.
Right.
And now with our SVN, I can actually make something and commit it and say, hey, it's there.
Yeah, we just got a local SVN server set up, and it's Michelle can just put stuff in the game.
I can just
now,
put it
and
in there
it's
now.
so much better.
Yeah, so that solved a lot of problems.
Yeah,
but
and the
communication, obviously.
Yeah, and design-wise, it is really difficult a lot of times, because when we have different concepts of design, I still, and it's just because of the nature of it, I still get the deciding vote, and that's not fair to Michelle. But she has to convince me, and if I'm not convinced, and I'm trying.
You're trying. It's definitely more sensitive because you're a married couple. But that sort of thing happens anyway with any development team. You have the person who's either like the lead content designer who's gonna have the final say, and all the people who are making content who are they're contributing, but they don't necessarily have the final say. It just depends on how the team is set up, but with us, it's supposed to be really iterative.
Yeah.
I think with our banner, let me get the banner up here. Oh wait, you don't have the banner.
Where'd the banner be?
I was just talking about our logo. So our banner, if you go to our booth, it's number 57 in the indie DevOcean area. our big banner that you see, we actually argued about that one quite a bit. We like went back and forth of like, he's facing this thing, it shouldn't be in the middle, and he needs to be looking like he's actually kneeling. And you were like, he does look like he's kneeling. Like, no, wait. And
Just print it. Just print it.
Just print it. We just need to get it out there.
And it's like a $200 banner to just print. Yeah.
Yeah, we were arguing about it quite a bit, but it ended up working out. You know, I think what happens is one person will work on it on their own quietly and then say, hey, look at this. Do you want to fix it up? And then we'll just go back and forth until it works out. It kind of takes longer doing it like that, but everyone ends up happier in the long run.
Yeah, and Michelle's art style, it's a lot cleaner than mine, so a lot of times
it's different.
She'll clean up, because I do hairy lines, is what they're called.
Hairy lines.
Thanks, 8th grade art teacher.
And our art styles are pretty different. I have an example even.
But we make it work.
We make it work. Like if you can see my fan art area here.
Now it'd be done.
Never mind. I don't know. It was in there.
Imagine
my art's a bit different. But I try to style match him, which can be, there we go, current slide.
We lost you on the big screen. Oh, there you are.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I don't know. I guess mine is quite a bit cleaner.
Yeah.
I think my rabbit here is like.
I love that rabbit.
That rabbit is awesome. I don't know. That's more like what I try to go toward. Yeah.
Yep. So, yeah. I mean, yeah. I guess
it works at the end of the day, but there is a lot of.
It's a process.
You know?
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's a process. We still have a little bit of time.
Hello.
Heyo.
Hello.
Hello.
All right. So, as a small indie team, what was your biggest hurdle when it comes to publishing for console?
The biggest hurdle for publishing for console?
Mm-hmm.
Well, do you mean like
to get
overall,
onto it, or
Yeah, just what was the hardest part when it comes to actually,
I
throwing
guess-
it out for a console?
I mean, like, do you mean like the actual launch, or like getting like accepted and greenlit?
Yeah, stuff like that.
Well, I think our situation has been pretty unique. We've actually had a pretty easy time getting on the console, which it's not that way for a lot of indies. The hardest part for us probably has been certification. That's always like the biggest headache and like most difficult part to get through. It's just making sure your game fits all the certification requirements.
Yeah, so the way, I mean, it used to be just me, and then on Xbox 360, and the way that I got on with that was I won a contest back when Xbox was promoting XNA, so that was just kind of like a unique situation.
Yeah, that was like your specific foot in the door.
Yeah,
and there's
it
a
was
lot
a
of
foot in
ways
the
to do
door.
it. And ever since then, you've just been able to grow the company enough that it's well known enough, and you keep making quality games. So.
Oh, thanks.
You get yeah.
But I mean, like the most important. I mean, probably like the best way to get in. Like if you don't know certain people or have the right email addresses, just make lots of demos or lots of really good or just a really good demo. Just keep making stuff, and because that I mean when you're pitching the concept for a game. Just having something that really shows like this will be amazing is how you sell it. So that's, I mean that was, we had to do that with all of our games. We had with Dishwasher Dead Samurai, that was like, we had to we won I won the contest, but subsequently we basically had to be like, here's a game concept, here's video of it, here are screenshots of it, here's why it'll be good. You put your best foot forward and hope it all works out.
All right.
And just keep trying. Yeah. About five more minutes ish to fill.
Is it getting darker?
Well, the screen got darker.
Oh, okay.
Because it's a black slide.
Okay.
Yeah, questions about anything really, from like how we're doing development, and questions about Salt in particular. Yeah, you can play Salt right now. It's at our booth. 57. Although I don't know. It doesn't have a number on it in the booth area, but
Right.
we're there.
Yeah, it's in the indie area. Like if you plunk around,
Which
you'll
is
find us
actually
eventually.
quite a large area. It's really cool.
Yeah. Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
I was curious, how have you guys enjoyed working with like Microsoft and Sony, and how easy has that been versus kind of doing your own thing, putting it on like PC where you just sort of send it out there and see if people like it? You actually have to work with Microsoft and Sony. Like, how have you enjoyed that?
So
Or how's that been?
it's a sensitive question.
Yeah.
No, so like I've actually just done like before this working with PS4 and Vita and Sony. I've just previously been the only Xbox 360 and Microsoft. Like never like so far I haven't released anything on Steam, or we haven't
We're
released.
planning to. Actually, getting approved for Steam was stupidly easy for us, just because we knew the right people. But yeah, we're going to be on Steam as well, and I guess Steam is really easy to work with, but we haven't released on it yet.
Yeah,
But we keep hearing it's really easy.
I mean, like Steam it's very hands off, you know.
Yeah,
Have
hands-off.
you worked with Steam or?
Yeah, you just sort of like sign up and then they kind
Just
of
do it.
give you all the
Yeah.
stuff. They like give us your 30% and then
Right,
let you do
right.
what you want.
Yeah, I mean, working with all the console stuff is much more involved, I guess, without getting too specific. But it's not horrible. You know, it's fine. You get there eventually.
Yeah, it requires a lot more communication. You just need to be on top of it with communicating with your partners. Yep.
And I mean, if no one else has another question.
Yeah, keep
Shoot.
going.
Because I used to work for 2K, and we would do whenever we have to certify, it would cost us like tens of thousands of dollars. So, you know, we were thinking like we'd like to also make video games, but we obviously can't afford to spend $10,000 to submit a game. Do you guys, as indie developers, have to do that same sort of thing, or is there something different for you since you're
It's a
not
lot friendlier for
major
indies,
publisher?
for
We're
sure.
totally not allowed to talk about any of that. Yeah, I mean, it's like it's all doable, you know. Like
It's just a lot friendlier environment for indies than it is like.
right.
It's
right.
pretty positive, yeah. It's good.
Oh, for indies?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
I never know what I.
They're like, I don't know what I
Yeah.
can say. Yeah.
Yeah. Nick's here to make sure we don't mess up.
Thank you.
Aw. Yeah. Sure.
2 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, if there are no more questions.
I thought Stu had a question. He's like, nah, I just came here to bug you.
Because I mean, we have some of these like limited edition PS4. No, I'm just kidding. Okay.
Yeah, but we're going to be here all weekend and in our indie booth if you want to come by and ask any other questions.
We're not allowed to leave.
We can't leave.
But yeah, the game is Salt and Sanctuary. Watch us on our dev stream Tuesdays and Fridays. Yeah,
And Mondays. Well, Monday I do my own thing, but I've been slowly making it more about development streams.
yeah, and yeah,
It's fun.
that's thank you all for coming. And I mean, it was awesome.
PlayStation